Welcome to the Bourbon Van. I'm Phil.
I'm Julie. Today we're putting an old favorite up against a new challenger.
If you haven't heard, one of our all-time favorite bourbons, Belle Meade Reserve, has been discontinued.
Such a shame.
Such a shame. Get it while you can. It's exactly what we've been doing as we travel across the country. When we see it, especially if it's a good value, we grab it. We keep seeing it with dust on it. How? So next bottle up from Nelson's Greenbrier Distillery. Now I don't see Greenbrier anywhere on here, so apparently more than the bourbon is changing, but this is Nelson Brothers Whiskey Reserve Bourbon, a blend of straight bourbon whiskeys, 107.8 proof. That's about all we know about it, is that it comes in a similarly shaped bottle, new branding. We've been drinking a lot of this and sharing a lot of this with our friends on the road, and this is not going to be blind. We're going to taste these side by side, see what we think, and we actually did have some folks taste this blind, and we will see what they thought of it after we do our tasting right here.
Belle Meade is in the super good glass, because we already know super good.
Absolutely. Super good glasses, by the way, on sale in the store right now, if you want them. thebourbonvan.com.
She smells wonderful.
Wonderful as always.
I gotta be honest, I'm a little upset that she's not going to be on the shelves very much longer.
Honestly, this is such a great whiskey. We've replaced it over and over. We buy it all the time. The nose, it's brown sugar, vanilla, oak, caramel. If you like a sweet whiskey with nice vanilla and a lot of sweet oak on it, this whiskey is perfect for you. I don't understand why it's not more popular.
People ask us all the time about our go-tos that we would rebuy, and Belle Meade Reserve was on my list.
Always.
So that's why we're buying all these backups. Let's try it.
Quick sip. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, I just love it.
It's beautiful.
Oh, I just love it. It is oaky and vanilla and sweet and a wonderful proof point. There's nothing harsh about it.
A tiny bit of spice, but it's beautiful spice.
Can you tell that I'm just like, why? Why? No, it's beautiful.
I feel like it's being stolen from us. It is lovely whiskey. There's a little bit of fruit there, but by and large, caramel, vanilla, some buttercream frosting, and some cinnamon, sweet oak. Not a ton of things happening. This is a pretty straight ahead bourbon. And at 108.3 proof, it drinks nice, drinks easy, drinks flavorful. What more could you want?
The proof point at 108 is just a wonderful proof point because you do get quite a bit of heat. So any, first-time bourbon drinkers may not find it as luscious as we're talking about.
It may not be extremely palatable, but it's not that far off.
Right. It does give me a really wonderful hug. Super flavorful. I'm keeping an open mind, though, because I want to love the Nelsons just as much as this, since I'm not going to be able to get this much longer.
Absolutely. And here on the finish, by the way, sweet oak, vanilla, little spice. Very nice.
Oh, a little spice, very nice. I like this.
This whiskey hugs you and you want to hug it back.
One video ago, I was hugging it back.
All right. So now we're going to get on to Nelson Brothers Reserve Bourbon. And of course, this is the new one, 107.8 proof.
Oh, it's had a little bubblegum nose to it.
It does. Spoiler alert, this has a Tennessee note to it. They are from Tennessee, this distillery, so...
Oh, I knew... That's so funny. Wasn't even thinking that. Gosh, that Belle Meade does not taste Tennessee at all.
It really doesn't. Yeah, it's standout MGP bourbon.
It is a nice oak presence on the nose.
Oak, vanilla, but the bubblegum, you're right, a little spice. This one is not as readily approachable, in my opinion.
Yeah, the nose on the Belle Meade is quite a bit sweeter, more aromatic.
More bourbon-like, in my opinion. Like when you think quintessential bourbon, you think a lot of nice oak, vanilla, caramel, those sorts of things coming through. This one has some unique, different notes. Not in a bad way. Yep. Just when I think bourbon, Belle Meade is really what I think of.
There's even a little, Laffy Taffy note on there. Let's give this a try.
Cheers.
Cheers. They taste quite different. It's really good though.
If we were talking about how the Belle Meade Reserve is approachable, this one on the nose seemed like it was going to be spicier and maybe less approachable. It's not at all. This is just as approachable. Easy sipping, very nice. Actually, when I think of a Tennessee sipper, this kind of fits the bill. This is like those cellophane wrapped caramels, the little cubes. This is more candy, quite honestly. It's there's a sweetness that's more sugar like.
Brown sugar.
Yeah, exactly.
Very brown sugary. They're both good, just completely different. Not completely different, but when you taste them side by side, there are some noticeable differences.
Yeah, coming from the same distillery, I wouldn't call these siblings. I wouldn't even call these cousins. I think that they're different enough. There is a distinct bit of limestone that sticks around on the finish with the Nelson Brothers. There is, like we talked about, sugary, light brown sugar, caramel, those sorts of things. The vanilla takes a bit of a back seat, but when it does start to creep in on the finish, it's vanilla extract, and the cinnamon does build on the back end of this one.
For me, on the Belle Meade, it's like a fruitier sweetness, and on here, it's definitely a sugary, like a brown sugary sweetness that I get on the Nelsons.
Yeah, in my opinion, the nose on Belle Meade Reserve is more inviting. The palate on Nelson Brothers Reserve is a little more inviting, and on the finish, I go back to the Belle Meade Reserve. So I do think that there's a lot to like in both of these whiskeys. I do think also that the Nelson Brothers, with that spice that comes through on the finish, the new bourbon is a little bit more complex, if not maybe a little bit more balanced. Time will tell exactly how we feel about that. But if you're looking for a straight ahead bourbon with those sweet bourbon flavors and a lot of oak, that Belle Meade Reserve is still going to be the ticket. And for me, if I had to choose one, top of my head right now, I'm going Belle Meade Reserve. How about you?
Yeah, I just did a little bit of A/B testing, and the Belle Meade for me is just my darling. I've loved it since the first time that I've basically sipped it. I love it now. I think this is really good.
I agree.
I just don't want to say that it replaces this.
Yeah, it is a tough act to follow, and kudos to Nelson Brothers for doing what they're doing. They're putting their own stamp on this whiskey. I will personally miss the Belle Meade Reserve.
Yes.
But now it's time to see, what did our guinea pigs think of this? We had a couple of whiskey drinkers who are a little bit more experienced and a couple that are a little less experienced, but they all do enjoy bourbon, and here are their thoughts.
I like this one.
This way.
So a 50-50 split. So let us know what you think about these bottles. Will you miss the Belle Meade as much as I will miss it?
Or will you welcome this new Nelson Brothers with open arms? We can't wait to hear your thoughts. It's showing up on shelves all across America as we travel here, so hopefully it shows up in your neck of the woods soon, from wherever we are.
To wherever you are.
Cheers.
Cheers.
How nice is Utah?
Pretty great camping spot, huh?